Just like last time, all we simply need is the module for this session. I opened the code from last time, but now I will erase it and write it again. From the very first moment, from the very beginning, from the start of everything, from the inception of time, from the dawn of existence, from the initial spark of creation, from the outset of all things, from the genesis of all things, from the birth of the universe, from the initial dawn of time, from the iDovitizing service provides comprehensive information and support for your device, ensuring that you have all the necessary details and assistance to optimize its performance and functionality. This service is designed to enhance your experience by offering detailed insights and guidance tailored to your specific needs. To begin, you need to create an instance of the Bluetooth Low Energy BLE radio specifically for the Device Information Service. This involves setting up the BLE radio to communicate with the device's information service, which is crucial for identifying and managing the device's capabilities. Additionally, ensure that the BLE radio is properly configured with the correct name, as this will. As in the last session, let's start by referring to it as DeviceMart, which is a fictional name we use for illustrative purposes. DeviceMart is a conceptual entity that helps us understand the structure and function of the DevInfo Device Info Service. This Device Info Service is absolutely key to our understanding, and within it there are various critical parameters that we need to consider. First, we have the manufacturer, which refers to the producer of the device. For example, DeviceMart could hypothetically be the manufacturer, and there could be a wide range of various products made by DeviceMart, each serving different functions and purposes. So we distinguish between the producer and the product name, where the name can be considered the product name and the manufacturer is the producer. For the sake of distinction and clarity in our discussions, I will just refer to it as DM Factory here, which is a shorthand we use for ease of reference. Next, we have the software revision, which is currently at version 3.0. This versioning is crucial as it indicates the updates and improvements made over time. The programs included in this version are software components that enhance the device's functionality. For instance, when we create a device, there are generally two main components that we focus on: the hardware, which is the physical aspect, and the software, which is the intangible programs that run on the hardware. These components work together to ensure the device operates efficiently and effectively, meeting the needs of the user. Hardware and firmware. Firmware that makes the hardware operate. Therefore, the version of the hardware can increase, and the version of the firmware can also increase. You can think of these combined as an integrated version. You can think of it as an integrated, comprehensive version that essentially encompasses everything and manages it all, which is often referred to as the software revision. For instance, it might be version 3.0, for instance, but that is just a placeholder. As for the model number, specifically within a product like product A, the models could be divided into A1, A2, A3, and so on. Like this as an example, I will just simply proceed forward and go ahead to delete the high BLE NRF 52840 for now. Next, for example, when it comes to serial numbers, in the case of Bluetooth devices, even though they are the same product, such as device A and device B, they can be distinguished by a MAC address that is included in Bluetooth. This is important because each device, even if they appear identical, has a unique identifier which is crucial for distinguishing them. A MAC address is used to distinguish devices. Generally, devices can be identified by their MAC address, or the manufacturer may assign a unique value to each device to differentiate them. So you can think of this as a unique value for distinguishing such devices. Here, let's just say ABCDEF, for example, as I mentioned. Bluetooth, generally speaking, distinguishes devices using the MAC address, but for now, we can input something like the serial number as an example. The firmware revision refers to the version of the program that makes this device operate. Let's just say it's v2.0 for now. The hardware revision can also change if the PCB is updated. For instance, if components are added or removed, it could change from 1.0 to 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and so on. Because of this, the hardware revision can also be entered here, specifically. For the service, initially it was none. For example, in the case of software revision 1.0, both the firmware and hardware were also at 1.0. However, when the software revision became 2.0, the firmware revision was 2.0, but the hardware revision remained at 1.0. When the software revision is at version 3.0, it indicates that the software has undergone several updates and improvements from its initial release. This versioning is crucial for tracking changes, ensuring compatibility, and providing users with the latest features and security patches. Meanwhile, the firmware revision remains at version 2.0. Firmware is the specialized software that is embedded into the hardware components of a device, and it controls the device's specific functions. It is less frequently updated than software because it requires a more stable and tested environment to ensure the hardware operates correctly. At the same time, the hardware revision is at version 1.5. Hardware revisions involve physical changes to the device's components, which can include improvements in design, materials, or manufacturing processes. This means that the system integrates a comprehensive version management strategy for both firmware and hardware, ensuring that all components work seamlessly together. The program runs within the actual device, meaning it is executed directly on the hardware, providing real-time processing and control. The version revision pertains to the physical hardware of that device, which is essential for maintaining the integrity and performance of the system. Let's check the saved information to ensure that all updates and revisions have been correctly documented and implemented, providing a reliable record of the device's configuration and history. We simply ran the light blue that we installed last time. In this current state, you can indeed see device mart. It is actually displayed as device mart, just as we set the name. And if you connect in this state, let's take a look down here. Then it will be listed here from the manufacturer. Let's first check the manufacturer as well as... If you click on this specific section here, you will see manufacturer name DN factory. And in the model number string, which you can find in your device settings, it shows file BLE NRF 5840, as I have previously mentioned. The MAC address I mentioned earlier is this one. It consists of 6 bytes. Each byte represents a unique part of its identity within Bluetooth communication protocols. Generally speaking, Bluetooth devices are distinguished by their MAC addresses. However, some manufacturers may assign such as unique values to their devices, which is reflected specifically in what they call the serial number. If you click on serial number right over there, you can set up the data type and data format precisely to UTF-8, and when you read it carefully, it displays ABCDEF. Now then, let's take an insightful look at the software revision details. If indeed you proceed to click upon the software revision option, change meticulously the data format to UTF-8 string and read through, it reveals v3.0. The v3.0 we entered is displayed, and we previously checked the model number above. Then we just confirmed the serial number, and the firmware revision can also be checked here. If you read again with the string UTF-8, it shows v2.0. Similarly, for the hardware revision string, after doing youtube.pal and reading again, it shows v1.5. This way, you can verify the information. So, instead of just setting the name like last time and simply advertising, you can include more detailed information about the device, as we did this time, in the advertising. This time, I explained how to include more detailed device information in the packets for advertising using CircuitPython. I will see you next time with different content.